Okay, good day everyone. For today, I will be discussing the second part of the anatomical structures of the digestive systems of the farm animals. So with this recorded discussion, I will be discussing the stomach of the non-ruminant as well as the ruminant stomachs. Now, when it comes to the regions, based from my previous discussion of the stomach of the monogastric, I think I have discussed that one. That the regions are the esophageal, the cardia, the fundus, as well as the pyloric regions. Okay? Pero kung makikita ninyo doon sa book na reference natin, there is also body and yung nilalagay or ang nakalagay doon is the cardia, the fundus, the body, and then the pyloric, walang esophageal region. So in order for us to have a comparison between the two, so I have made a more specific one. Meron tayong tinatawag na anatomical at saka yung mucosal or histological regions. So when it comes to the anatomical regions, we are talking here about the shape as well as the location of the stomach. So ito yung nakikita natin when we are referring with the gross anatomy. Okay? So when we are doing the dissection or we are locating the shape or the location of the stomach, ito yung kadalasan na ginagamit natin, yung anatomical region. So pag yung cardia, that is just yung entrance of the stomach from the esophagus. Yung fundus naman, that is just the upper part. Yung body or what we call as the corpus, that is corpus, corpus, yun yung largest component of the stomach. Okay, and then we have the pyloric, that is just the exit point papunta na sa duodenum. Now, ano yung focus ng anatomical regions na to? So we are, again, as what I've said, we are talking about the shape of the stomach, the parts of the stomach kapag binuksan natin or kapag dinisect natin, yung landmarks na nakikita with our naked eye. So, ginagamit ito kapag pinag-uusapan natin yung function, yung motility, as well as yung gross structure ng stomach. Now, one possible question that you might ask for this one is bakit walang esophageal region? Dahil yung esophageal opening is hindi tinitingnang separate region anatomically. If we are talking about anatomical, okay? So this ang esophageal region, if we are talking about the anatomy, we are it is a part of the cardia. So yun yung main reason for that one. Now, when it comes to the mucosal or the histological regions, we are talking here about the type of epithelium and then the glands. So ginagamit natin ito when it comes to histology, yung microscopic anatomy as well as physiology ng secretion. So ito yung ginagamit kapag gusto natin na makita kung saang part yung merong gastric glands, yung merong mga parietal cells or enzyme production. So again, I have already discussed the functions of the esophageal region, the cardia, the fundus, as well as the pylori. Now, ang question, bakit merong esophageal region? Dahil, as what I've said from my previous discussion, ang esophageal region, non-glandular part ng stomach, lalong-lalo na sa mga non-ruminant animals natin. Okay? Iba yung epithelium. Okay? Yun yung main reason for that one. Iba ang epithelium, hindi glandular, kaya separate region ito under histology. Ngayon, sa may bandang entrance na meron tayong cardia and yung esophagus dyan, siya yung nagjo-join sa stomach. So, tinawag siyang cardia kasi malapit siya sa heart. So, sa area na yan, meron tayong thickened muscular wall which we are calling it as the cardiac sphincter. So, sa mga horses, very strong nito kaya very difficult for our horses na mag-vomit. Okay, yun yung main na kwan dito when it comes to the horses. Medyo nahihirapan silang mag-vomit. Kaya kapag nagkaroon ng colic sa mga horses or yung sobrang build up ng gas, hindi sila basta-basta makakapag-release by vomiting. Kaya mas prone sila sa gastric rupture compared sa mga ibang animal. So, ang colic, this is one, like for example, kapag medyo nagbabalik-baliktad na yung horse, okay, parang yung namimilipit ka sa sakit ng tiyan mo, ganun yung nararamdaman ng mga horses if they are experiencing yung colic. Now, yung stomach shape naman ng horse at saka yung pig natin is parang letter J. So, it's because dahil magkalapit lang yung cardia at saka yung pylorus. Okay, magkalapit lang yung cardia at saka yung pylorus. Now, nagkakaroon ng short, kung makikita ninyo dito, short lang yung lesser curvature and then merong longer na greater curvature. So, sa upper part, near the cardia, meron tayong tinatawag na fundus. So sa mga horses, yung fundus nila sobrang enlarged and nagpo-form siya ng parang blind sac na tinatawag nating sacus siccus. So ang lining nito is stratified squamous epithelium. So meaning non-glandular siya, hindi siya nagsisecrete ng gastric juices. Sa mga pigs naman, meron silang similar pero mas maliit lang na pouch na tinatawag natin na gastric diverticulum. Pero ang lining naman nun is glandular. So opposite siya with the horses. Now yung body ng stomach, it is considered to be the largest expanding part. So, siya yung nag-hold at saka nagmi-mix ng food particles or yung bolus with the gastric secretion. So, as the stomach curves pababa at papunta doon sa right side, nagtra-transition siya papunta sa pyloric region. So, as what I've said from previous discussion, meron tayong pyloric sphincter. Ang pyloric sphincter, okay? So, eto na yung para na-prevent for the backflow. So, sa mga pigs, may special pa na makikita natin. We call this one as the torus pyloricus. So, this is a type of muscular and fatty enlargement. So, hindi pa totally sure ngayon ang science kasi based from the book, it is still unknown yung pinaka-function niya. Pero in based from with other references, it is believed na tumutulong siya na mag-regulate ng gastric outflow. Now, if we look deeper sa stomach wall, okay, makikita natin na meron siyang tatlong muscle layers. So meron tayong yung tinatawag natin na tunica muscularis of the stomach. So meron tayong outer longitudinal, the middle circular, at saka yung inner oblique. So yung oblique layer ang nagbibigay ngayon ng strong churning motion or yung strong mixing motion kaya mas effective yung mechanical digestion. So take note, hindi lahat ng organs may oblique layer. Kaya ang stomach ng mga non-ruminant, it is very special kasi they have or they possess this kind of structure. Now, sa inner surface or mucosa naman, okay, iba't ibang lining din yung makikita natin. So the first part surrounding the cardia is called as the esophageal region. So yung lining nito, it is stratified squamous, meaning to say, again, it is non-glandular. Sa mga pigs naman, maliit lang yung non-glandular part na ito, pero sa horse, malaki siya kasi kasama yung lining ng sacus siccus. So same type of lining din ito sa forestomach ng ruminants kaya wala pa ring secretory function sa portion na yon sa mga ruminant animals. So after that area naman ay glandular na yung mucosa. So dito natin makikita yung gastric folds or yung tinatawag natin as the rugae na nag-aalaw sa stomach na mag-expand kapag sobra na or madami na yung pagkain. Now, microscopically, makikita natin yung gastric pits kung saan nag-open ang iba't ibang gastric glands also. Okay, so that is one. Now we now enter the glandular region. So the first glandular part is called as the cardiac gland region. And sa horse, meron tayong visible na boundary which is called as the margo plicatus. Kung saan nagbabago yung lining from non-glandular to glandular. So, ang function ng cardiac glands ay mainly for mucus secretion for protection. Okay? So, sa mga horses, maliit lang ang area na ito, pero sa mga pigs, halos kalahati ng stomach interior ang covered nito. Next is the fontic gland region. Okay? So dito naman, it contains now yung true gastric glands. So dito na nagsisikret sila ng mga hydrochloric acid and digestive enzymes like yung mga pepsinogen. So dito, may mga parietal cells also, mga chief cells, as well as yung mga mucous neck cells. Okay? Then yung pinaka last part, okay, glandular portion is yung pyloric gland region. Okay, so predominantly mucus-producing glands ang laman nito. Now, meron tayo dito yung enteroendocrine cells sa glandular stomach. So, ano ba tong mga enteroendocrine cells? So, sila yung mga special na glandular cells na makikita natin sa mucosa ng glandular stomach. Okay, so doon sa cardiac, fontic, tsaka sa pyloric region. So, hindi sila nakikita with the aid of or with our naked eye kasi they are mixed. Kasi if you would observe from this one, mix isuda, etong green portion na to, mix isuda, and then kalat-kalat, haangami may isang area iti ayanda. Okay, parang hidden sensors etong mga to na nagmo-monitor ng stomach contents. So, ano yung ginagawa ng mga enteroendocrine cells? So, ang primary function nila is maglabas ng mga hormones. So, hindi digestive enzymes, kundi chemical messengers, etong mga to na kumokontrol sa first one, secretory activity, yung pagtunaw ng pagkain. So gaano karaming acid, gaano karaming mucus or enzymes yung dapat na ilabas. Then another one is muscular activity or motility. So, ito naman yung paggalaw ngayon ng tiyan at saka yung stomach. So, gaano or yung bituka. So, gaano kabilis or kabagal yung paghalo kay yung pag-churning and yung pag-usad ng food. Then, activities of accessory organs like the liver, the pancreas, and even with the gallbladders. Now, paano sila gumagana? So let's just think na para silang command center sensors ng digestive system. So kapag dumating ngayon yung food sa tiyan natin, so nadedetect sila, so nadedetect nila yung pH level, yung presence ng fats and proteins, yung gastric distension, like yung paghila ng mga stomach walls or pag widen ng stomach walls. So kapag may nakikita silang pagbabago, then nag i-stimulate sila para mag-release sila ng mga hormones para sabihin sa stomach kung kailan maglabas ng hydrochloric acid or pepsinogen. So like for example, in terms of the fontic region, okay, yung mga G cells, okay, or they are producing yung mga gastrin. So nagpapadami sila ng HCl or kinokontrol din nila yung paggalaw ng tiyan. So para hindi masyadong mabilis or mabagal yung gastric emptying. Na ano-ano yung mga hormones na maaaring i-secrete. So depende pa rin sa mga species. So meron tayo the G cells or the gastrin cells. So karamihan nandoon sa pyloric region, although I have also said that it is on the fundus, pero karamihan dito is nasa pyloric region. So pinapadami nila yung hydrochloric production, tsaka pinapabilis yung gastric motility. Then another one is the somatostatin or the D cells or what we call as the brake hormone. Ito naman, pinipigilan niya yung excess or excessive na acid secretion. And then we have the enterochromaffin-like cells. So nagpapalabas lang to ng mga histamine, so nagpapataas ng acid secretion. And then we have the ghrelin cells or the GH1 cells. So makikita sa Fondic region or the hunger hormone. So nagpapataas ng appetite kasi this is the hunger hormone. Now, what is importance or what is the importance of the enteroendocrine cells? Kasi sila yung parang communication link ng stomach sa other organs. Kasi kung walang enteroendocrine regulation, syempre sobra yung acid. So anong mangyayari? Magkakaroon ng ulcer or mali yung gastric emptying. So, if mali yung gastric emptying, possible for vomiting, possible for bloating, okay, possible for stasis, mga ganon. And then pag kulang yung pancreatic enzymes, syempre there would be a malabsorption, hindi tama yung pagkaka-absorb. Then if there is a wrong in the bile secretion, then of course there would be a poor fat digestion. Now, next one, pag-usapan naman natin dito, yung ruminant stomach. So, ang first na modification is yung expansion ng esophageal region, which forms yung three distinct na voluminous diverticula. We have the rumen, the reticulum, as well as the omasum. So etong tatlong compartments na to, it is collectively known as the forestomach. So ang lining ng forestomach, it is non-glandular, stratified squamous epithelium. Ibig sabihin, wala pa itong glandular secretion. Kaya ang digestion dito is microbial. So, ang for stomach, this is a series of chambers wherein yung mga feed ay nag-a-undergo with microbial fermentation bago dumaan sa abomasum. Okay? Yung maliit na glandular portion ng stomach kung saan nangyayari talaga yung true na enzymatic digestion. So, tingnan natin muna yung ruminoreticulum. Pero we will just use the word ruminoreticulum, although with other references, there are also telling it as a reticulorumen. Pero dito, for our discussion, we will be using that one, the ruminoreticulum. So, bakit natawag na ruminoreticulum? Dahil functional and anatomically related, yung reticulum tsaka rumen, madalas silang pinagsasama bilang ruminoreticulum. So yung esophagus, it opens with the cardia. So nasa level siya ng middle ng seventh intercostal space. Pag sinabi natin na intercostal, in between the ribs. Kasi inter, that is between, and then costal, that is the ribs. So, seven intercostal space, and nag-open sa dorsal space na common sa rumen at reticulum. So sa cardia, ang mucosa is comprised of two heavy muscular folds na together nag-form ng tinatawag natin na sulcus ruminoreticularis, or in other books, we are calling it as the esophageal groove or the gastric groove or the reticular groove. So ano tong sulcus ruminoreticularis? So ito yung important one na structure, lalong-lalo na sa mga nursing na animals natin or yung mga bagong silang na animals natin. Pero sa mga adults, kadalasan hindi na to functional.